Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning, everybody. Excellency Alemayo, the Kenyan Minister of Energy and Water, Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Her Excellency Dr. Ilham Ibrahim, AU Commissioner, Infrastructure and Energy, representative of the African Development Bank, representative of CEMA Bureau, representative of the partner energy institutions, honorable ministers here present, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a pleasure and a great honor to join you at this opening session of the joint event and conference of African Energy Ministers and Pan-African Investment Forum. I am sure your meeting and your deliberation on the challenges we face in developing and strengthening Africa's energy sector would result in concrete proposals that will inform the continent's future energy development policies and strategies. Allow me, Chairperson, at the onset to express my delight for ECA collaboration with African Union Commission, AUC, and the African Development Bank and our partner institutions in convening this important and topical All-Africa joint events entitled Renewable Energy for Sustainable Development from Potential to Infrastructure and Services. Chairperson, honorable ministers, Africa as a whole is showing remarkable economic growth with an average of 5% GDP growth rate per annum for the past decade. I am sure the statistics is well known. As you know so well, 6 of the fastest growing 10 countries in the world are from Africa, including our gracious host, Ethiopia. I think this is definitely what we could call it confidently the Africa moment. And there wouldn't be any better moment than addressing challenges of energy and infrastructure in the continent than seizing the moment. But having said this, and despite such impressive growth, however, only 25% of African population has access to modern electricity as compared to 50% in South Asia and more than 80% in Latin America, comparable regions of the global South. We also recognize the fact that power production is very expensive in Africa by global standards. In this regard, cost reduction strategies such as regional trade could help reduce the cost significantly. Africa is well endowed with cost-effective energy resources on a large scale, most notably hydropower. However, most countries with such resources find themselves financially unable to build generating plants and utilize such power. We at ECA firmly believe regional power trading is a potential solution. However, we also realize that making regional power trade function is indeed a challenge in and itself. Among the major challenges to power trade are weak continental power transmission networks, harmonization of standards and energy regulatory systems, and tariff design based on market mechanisms. In addition to investing in new generating plants and transmission capacities, the continent also needs to focus on improving the operating efficiency of existing power utilities. This could be done primarily through institutional reforms. It is estimated that such reform could save the region up to $2.7 billion per year. Improving tariff design that is based on economic principles could also save billions of dollars every year, which can be used as investment resources for the sector. Underpricing of power is a widespread practice across the continent. In some countries, underpricing is so serious that utilities can barely capture half of the revenues they need to operate. Chairperson, although we appreciate the financing of power sector from various partners, including old and new partners, OECD countries, most recently our partners from the Global South, particularly China and India, but still a funding gap of about 26 billion per year is still required. And to address this, however, we also need to realize that no external sources can ever address all the continent's power needs. In order to make substantial progress towards meeting the power needs of the continent, domestic public investment will have to be generated and will have to increase. Improving utilities' corporate standing and creditworthiness through the various reforms measures, which I have already noted some of them, could put themselves in a position where these companies can access resources directly from various capital markets. Let me now turn to the issue concerning renewable energies, which is the main theme of this meeting. To date, the main effort by most countries on the continent has been to invest our limited resources on fossil and hydro-based electric generation to meet the growing energy demand. However, recent studies have shown that renewable energy sources such as wind, solar, and biomass could make effective contribution towards addressing the dire energy needs of the continent. Chairperson, honorable ministers, allow me to cite some of the clear benefits of renewable energy as compared to other sources of energy. First, renewable energy technologies are well suited to rural areas, particularly where the national grids are less accessible. In such areas, abundantly available energy sources such as off-grid and stand-alone solar and wind power could meet the needs of localized areas. Renewable energy sources are abundant in most of our African countries, if not in all of them. Second, renewable energy is a domestic source and as such provides alternative to uncertain and increasingly expensive imports of fossil fuels, which often puts African economies at the mercy of foreign and volatile supply chains. And finally, renewable energy technologies open a new export opportunity by generating revenues in much needed hard currency through carbon crediting on international carbon markets. This is an issue, I think, through the days of this conference, you will have the opportunity to deliberate on those. I think realizing the importance of energy security for the continued growth and development of the continent, and in this regard, ECA, in conjunction with partners, deploys several modalities and services to support its member states, which include policy analysis and advocacy, enhancing partnerships, technical assistance, communication and knowledge sharing, and supporting sub-regional activities. Chairperson, honorable ministers, this meeting, with its very promising start and with outstanding participants, has a very promise to produce concrete recommendations that would guide our future activities in energy sector development in general and in renewable energy in particular. I wish you all the success in your deliberations and thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.